The expression "you can't go home again" reflects the bittersweet realization that time inevitably changes both people and places, often leaving them forever altered from what they once were. Rooted in the idea that returning to a familiar place rarely revives the experiences, relationships, or sense of belonging that once defined it, the expression speaks to the complex feelings of nostalgia and loss that come with personal growth and the passage of time.
I just pulled up to this trailhead and it's really bringing back memories. Although I'm not currently a resident of the state of California, I was for many years. And just down in the valley beyond this peak is where I lived for a really long time, and I had a very different life than I have now, just 5 short years ago. It was 5 years ago this month that I became nomadic. And so much has changed.
I'm Christine. After starting life over in 2020, I'm using seasonal work to build financial security, experience new places, and most importantly, keep living life as a big adventure. Come along as I live like a local in desired destinations, spend time in nature hiking, backpacking, and living out of my car, and craft the trips of my dreams on a backpacker's budget. If you're wondering how it is in 5 short years, I went from essentially a suburban housewife to a nomad living in here. Just keep watching. Well, I just realized that I have forgotten both my headphones and my Garmin watch, so we will be raw dogging this hike for 6.7 miles out and back in the San Jacinto wilderness. Also, if you're wondering how it's possible that I live in my car, which is just down the hill, and I forgot something, it's because I stayed at my mom's house last night, and I'm going to stay at my mom's house again tonight, because the large part of the reason why I'm hanging around California for the month of November is so that I have time to spend with friends and family. So we had a family event yesterday, and I have some family stuff going on tonight. So I thought I'd come out, do a nice hike, and then tomorrow I'll be hitting the road again for a little while. This is a big pine cone. Whoa, cool. It's surprising to me how well I actually remember this trail, given that it's been years since I've hiked it, but I think it was also just such a formative part of my journey to venture to the outdoors. This mountain range, which is called the Santa Rosas, and the over 10,000 foot peak that dominates it, Mount San Jacinto, was visible from my old neighborhood where I lived for 7, 8, 10 years. I don't really remember, but when I say my old neighborhood, I mean the house I lived in, decorated so thoughtfully. I was married, and we had careers and retirement, pension, and all the sort of average, normal things. And I was content with that journey in my life. But there was this nagging want for adventure. And that kind of led me out here. Became curious about what it would take to summit that peak that was before my eyes every single day. You see, during this time I was content with being a weekend warrior. Yeah, I was amping things up a bit, and I had these dreams, this sort of like alternate reality set of dreams where there were these ambitions to do big things like through hikes and travel to many different countries. But the day in, day out dreams, the stuff that was getting the focus and the work was about building a secure life that would support a family. That was where I thought my life was headed. And all I can say is I thank God that I started exploring this part of myself, this part of my life and ambitions, before it came to pass that a family wasn't in the cards for me. Wait, no. Look at the size of this pine cone. Whoa! That's wild! For me, that time was stricken by such immense grief that I was really struggling to get from day to day. And I went and saw a therapist, and some guidance she gave me, among other things, was to do what I wanted to do. Just take the pressure off myself for the things that I should be doing, and just do something that I would like to do. And thankfully, I knew what I liked to do. And that was to come out in nature, to explore, to adventure, and to challenge myself in that particular kind of way. I have a feeling that I have set up and walked that very exact shot once before. Some things change, but some things do not.
Change can come as an outside force sweeping in like a storm, yet sometimes change begins softly within, a flicker, a new desire, or subtle awakening, transforming how we see even the most familiar places and people. External change may come boldly and visibly, but it's the quiet, internal shifts that often leave the deepest marks.
It was my deep curiosity to explore that part of myself, as well as the world, that I believe made me feel like my life had purpose again, and ultimately saved me.
It's those quiet internal shifts, those secret evolutions of heart and soul, that shape us in ways that only we may ever truly understand.
This has been a beautiful hike. No wonder I've done it so many times, but we've reached the end. That is the rock this trail is named after. I'll put it on the screen. I don't want to say it out loud, but we've reached the end of the trail. Let's go to the car. Well, along the hike, I realized that not only did I forget my earbuds and watch, but I also forgot my sunglasses and my wallet. I gotta say, the advantage of living in my car is that I usually have everything I need and own with me. Oh, and I know you're probably wondering how I made the leap from finding purpose in exploration to giving up a comfortable life and living in my car. Trust me, we're gonna get there, but first I'm gonna see how far my Apple Pay can take me into getting a little snack or something in town. It took me far too long to realize that this was upstairs. Anybody that was watching me like walk around were probably cracking up because I've been just wandering in circles. It's upstairs. town is poppin' right now. Today is Veterans Day, so I would like to take a moment to extend my gratitude for all the service members who have served the United States in the armed services in protection of our country. Thank you very much. This town of Idlewild has some interesting politics in that I believe it's the co-deputy mayor is actually a golden retriever. It's a crepe. I already started eating it. It was so tempting. And it's very, very good. I got a Nutella crepe. I wanted some sort of like berry one that they had, but they were out of some of the key components, ingredients, I guess. And this one is fantastic. So I'm not going to complain. I'm just going to enjoy.
It was 5 years ago this month, maybe even to the day, that I left my old house under duress, and I didn't go back. I loaded up this very same car with all of the belongings I felt would suit me best for the new life that was ahead of me, and a life full of adventure and exploration. And that's really how it all started. At that time, I did have plans to hike the Pacific Crest Trail, which was going to take about 5 months. That was due to start in the spring. And when I was 2 days away from starting, California went into lockdown because this was 2020. So that kind of spoiled those plans. But, you know, I found many other ways to get out there and explore. I've seen a lot of the Western United States living out of the back of this thing, and it's my plan to see so much more in the future. I've also traveled to many new countries. In fact, when I was just in Mexico, that was the 20th country I've ever visited. And sure, there are challenges and there are parts of it that are not at all glamorous, and, you know, there are stresses, but there's so much of it that is just so beautiful. And the amount of freedom that I have is undeniable. As with everything, every lifestyle, every decision, and everything worth having, it comes with trade-offs. And even at this moment, 5 years in, I feel like I'm just, if not more, excited for the adventures to come than I have been at any other time. So thank you for being here with me, and I hope that you will continue with me along the journey. It's my goal to hit 20,000 subscribers by the end of this year, so if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing for more content. And I'm actually really excited about what I'm going to do tomorrow, but we're going to save that for the next video. Thanks for being here. I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.